Hello guys, this is Assistant Professor Namesh Das here from LJ Institute of Engineering Technology. Hello guys, this is Assistant Professor Namesh Das here from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today's session I will cover the hot probe method and second is the CVM method. So let us start with the hot probe method. Now hot probe method is nothing but a shortcut method. Shortcut method for what? For getting the doping of the material. So let us define. It is a method to quickly determine whether the sample is a p-type or an n-type material. While doing so, what is the requirement? First requirement is shielding iron or a heat source to heat up the one point. Ammeter is required. Along with that, two contacts are required. So you can see the basic setup for the hot probe is as a thin sheet is there. One side would be hot probe, another side is a cold probe, and it would be at the room temperature. This hot probe would be heated up with the shielding iron. In middle, you have got the ammeter. Now, how does it work? It works as for one side, if you have that hot probe is getting heated up, what will be happening? If the material is a p-type, all the positive charges, okay, that is in majority, that is nothing but our holes, will move to the colder side, and that is towards the cold probe. But while it is moving toward the cold probe, the deficiency that is created by the hole will be done by the electrons. Okay, so that hot probe would become now comparatively negative in charge. And as majority is diffusing away, what will happen? The cold probe would be positive side. And you can see the deflection, the current flows from the positive to negative. Hence, the current deflection would be on this side. So if you are getting such type of deflection, the material is the p-type. After that, we have got another sheet again. Now we are taking the n-type material. So in that what will be there? The majority carrier would be of electrons. They are moving away, and as they are moving away, it will be going towards the cold side. But while it is diffusing away, what will it do? It will leave out the holes, and hence the hot probe in this case will become positive, and the other side will become negative. And the deflection that has been shown, that is again positive to negative, this will give you the n-type. So if you on the basis just you take the material, how simple is it? Just take the material, set up, heat it up, seeing the deflection, you can say that whether it is the p-type or an n-type material. So this was your hot point probe method. Now we are going with the capacitance voltage measurement. Now before that, let us discuss few things. That is, what is capacitance voltage measurement? So basically, it is a method used for the measurement of the junction capacitance of a semiconducting junction. Again, when the moment we are saying a semiconducting junction, definitely that capacitance will be in the terms of the PN junction diode. Okay, so it is also known as capacitance voltage profiling. Now, in this method, the voltage is varied and the capacitance is measured and plotted as a function of the voltage. Okay, so with the help of voltage, the capacitance would be varying in this case. Now let's see the application for the same. First, the dependence of the depletion with applied voltage provides information on the doping profile. Okay. Second thing, used for the PN junction metal semiconductors as well as the MOSFETs. Now basically MOSFET is nothing but the type of the transistor. Last, this method improves the device performance as an analysis failure mechanism. So these are some of the applications for the CVM technique. Now, when we are going with the types of the capacitance of the PN junction diode, we will get diffusion capacitance CD. The capacitance that occurs due to the stored charge of the minority electrons and minority holes near the depletion region. Okay, so basically what happens, whenever the depletion region was created, okay, now when you are providing the forward bias, so what happens? Forward bias, the majority carrier will move towards the depletion region to shrink it down, but the minority will move away. So when the minority are moving away, it gives you the window for storing the charge. Okay, so this is basically diffusion capacitance. It usually dominates in the forward bias. It is also called as a storage capacitance. Why it is known as a storage capacitance? We know it because it is giving the place to store the charges. Now, second type of the capacitance. Basically, we have got the two type of the capacitance. First was discussed, and now the second part, that is the junction capacitance. The capacitance formed by the charges in the depletion region that changes according to the applied voltage. So, with respect to the voltage, whatever the depletion region is changing, and because of that, whatever the junction or the capacitance is changing, that would be Cj. But you can see that the diffusion capacitance is outside the depletion region and junction capacitance is within the depletion region. So this is the fundamental difference between the two. Now it dominates in the reverse bias. It is also called as a transient capacitance and it is denoted by Ct. So Cj is equal to epsilon, that is permittivity, area, that is A, and upon divided by width of the material. So that was the Cj. Now let's discuss the junction capacitance. Width of the depletion layer can be defined as the width is there, xpo is the point of from the p type, and xno is the point from the negative, that is the n type material, and this on the x-axis is there. So from this we can say that from the Gauss law, the equation can be stated as on the p side of the junction, Em is defined, or electric field is defined as Qna, that is for acceptor, xpo upon epsilon. Similarly, on the n side of the junction, Em equals to Qnd xno by epsilon is given. So, using the Poisson's equation, V equals to minus integration of Ex of d of x is given. The voltage across the junction is the area under E of x curve. Now, how when you are taking the E of x curve, this was xpo, this was xno, so you are getting an inverted triangle. So when we are going for the area, so VO would be half of the base into altitude. Okay, so what is happening? Half into width, and what is this height that is you getting? That is nothing but E of m. So that can be reduced as V of VO equals to half of Q and D xn upon epsilon into W. So we have just replaced that values there. So substituting the values of the xn, that would be ultimately giving you the width is equal to under root of 2 epsilon upon Q into bracket Na plus Nd upon Na into Nd VO. So this is the final equation that you are getting out. So now the junction capacitance equilibrium. Now what is equilibrium? Where you are having nothing extra in the supply. Okay. So no field is applied. So ideal condition, you have got this PN junction. On the other side you have got XPO. On the other side you have got XNO. Now this width, the junction capacitance can be given as CJO. O is nothing but your equilibrium state and is equal to epsilon A upon W. So now what the changes are there? The changes that would be there, substituting the equation in the depletion region directly, now you are getting epsilon Cj0 equals to permittivity into area upon that equation, that is 2 epsilon upon Q into bracket 1 upon Na plus 1 upon Nd Vo. So finally you are getting Cj0 is equal to A under root of Q into permittivity upon 2 into bracket Na into Nd upon Na plus Nd 1 upon V0. So now simplifying the above equation, you will be getting this final equation as given. So now the junction capacitance is the reverse bias. Now we are getting the reverse bias, the depletion width will be increasing now. Okay. So as the width is increasing, what is the effect on it? So the width of the depletion layer in the reverse bias can be given as W equals to under root of 2 epsilon Q Na plus Nd upon Na into Nd. Instead of V0 that was about just equilibrium, now the add-on that is nothing but V0 plus VR. So the junction capacitance in the reverse bias is given as epsilon A, that is permittivity into A, upon this entire equation under root of 2 epsilon upon Q into bracket 1 upon Na plus 1 upon Nd V0 plus V of R. So the Cj equals to A upon 2 and the final equation you are getting, but you can say that 2Q epsilon Na into Nd upon Na plus Nd upon 1 upon V0 can be defined as Cj0, that is the junction capacitance that we have already proved. And the only change that we are getting extra is under root of Vr upon Vo plus 1. So this is in the terms of the junction capacitance, in the terms of the capacitance junction in thermal equilibrium state. So now, if the applied voltage is still very large as compared to the built-in voltage, that is VR is much greater than the V0, what would be the condition? Cj equals to A by 2 under root of 2q epsilon Na into Nd upon Na plus Nd, what upon VR? Here we are not considering now V0. Now again we will be sorting that equation and ultimately we are getting Cj equals to K, that is the constant term, and the root of 1 upon VR. So these are the basic three conditions that we have discussed, and on that we can say that Cj is proportional to Vr raised to minus 1 by 2. So it is straight to, you will see that the junction capacitance is, when the reverse bias is increasing, depletion width is increasing, but you can see that the junction capacitance is reversely affected to the same. That is what has been derived in the equation. So now the junction capacitance, as mentioned, decreases with the increase in the reverse voltage. That is what we have concluded at last. Now the advantages for the CVM techniques are, it is a simple technique when many equipments are not used. Second, measurements are taken directly from the device. Third, it is a non-destructive method. So in the non-destructive method, it will not destruct or it will not harm any of the part or of the device. So these are the few advantages of the CVM. Now we'll go with the disadvantages. Now the doping profile can be extracted only when the diode is a reverse bias. In forward bias it cannot be done because we know that Cj is dominated in the reverse bias. Now it is an approximation method, so perfect value cannot be obtained. So hope you guys have understood this two section of the hot probe method, okay, and the second was the CVM method. See you in the next page.